And welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope that you all had a great week. I hope that you're all looking forward to a fantastic weekend. Students, this is an IELTS listening section. We are focusing on listening in this class. We will listen to audio and answer questions about school and travel. Actually, it will be about a membership registration and travel, I believe. But anyway, we'll be doing some listening, parts 1 and part 2. This lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. On both of these websites, we've got our textbooks and materials that we use for these live classes. This is a subscribers chat class, so you need to subscribe to join the chat. Subscribing to our YouTube channel is a good idea if you are getting ready for IELTS. We are one of the most popular IELTS test preparation sites on the internet. And hit the notification button so you get notified of these live classes and our recent releases. Welcome again, Carolina, our moderator. Thank you for helping us to be efficient in our interactions. Masala, nice to see our members. Fwang, Domenico, Fatma, good to have a lot of our subscribers in the class already as well. Again, the websites that we use as textbooks for our live classes, this is aehelp.com. You click this big red button there to join the premium version of this website. And it's a one-time payment for lifetime access, so it's well worth it. We are an IDP affiliate, British Council partner, IELTS Test Registration Center. I'm a certified British Council agent, so you're in excellent hands with us. For the general IELTS, it's the green background. And again, click that big red button there to join the premium package. The listening section, like the speaking section, it's the same for the academic and the general. So whichever type of exam you decide to take, the listening will be the same. Students, we do have apps that power our websites and your learning. You can use the apps Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help. Get those from your app stores, link them to the websites. And you can also check out our schedule, vocabulary, some tips on Instagram, IELTS _ AE Help and G IELTS Help. Yeah, follow us there. If you have questions, worry not. I'm here to help. Send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. We love to hear questions. We love to help you out. And when you succeed, we succeed. So, yeah, let us know. Students, right now we've got listening. Then tomorrow we will have speaking part 2 for members, speaking part 3 for everybody. And we will have a light haul class coming up on Sunday. That will be a speaking class, and that class is for free for you to join. I just put the link into the chat. Light haul it's like YouTube Live, but it's especially made for learning online. What that means is you can do video interactions, and you can talk to me through video and audio, and it's real time, so there's no lag, which is really cool. So check that out. It's Lighthall, aehelp.com/Lighthall for that class. It's a free class. Register for it. We'll have some fun on Sunday. You can always follow our new releases. They're great. We will have a new release for you in the next 24 to 48 hours as well. For you to practice. There's one for you now in the chat, and make sure to use that to improve your speaking skills. All right, this class, listening. We are focusing on listening strategies. For those students that watch these live classes regularly, what is the first strategy to keep in mind when the listening section starts? So I want to see if anybody remembers this before I tell you this, okay? And while you're thinking about that, this is a discount code that you can use on the websites for a 20% discount. Target 9. So what's the very, very first strategy? And this is an important one. You can actually save a full band score just with this one strategy. Unboxing Masala says, read the questions carefully. Not quite, Masala, not quite. Kim, I'm happy to hear that your speaking exam went well. That's awesome. Send me your results when you have them. Let me know what you got, and would love to hear your opinion. All right, Rocky, thanks for those good wishes there. So what's your very first strategy? So first strategy, first step and first strategy when you start the listening section is to, very important. Kiki says, focus on the conversation. Masai says, understand the title and predict the rest, kind of. Baljit says, think critically and visualize. Kind of. Nam Dovan Thun says, read the titles. Yes, I think, Nam, you're kind of the closest. Strategy when you start the listening section is to look at the topics of each part 1, 2, 3, 4 during the instruction time, which is about 90 seconds. It's pretty long. And you are allowed to do this. If some proctor says you're not allowed to do that, it's not true. They haven't been trained properly, and that's disappointing. You have to follow their instructions, but you are allowed to look at the other parts while the instructions are going on. Okay, so you are allowed to do this. In fact, in the computer-based exam, or some people say computer delivered, it's the same. Computer-based exam, you can quickly jump to the different parts using the navigation at the bottom of your screen. Okay. So today, and the reason for this is because you're going to understand those parts better. This way, you will understand each part better. Okay, let me show you what I mean. All right, and this can, so like I said, everyone, this can easily save you a half a band to a full band score. This one step. So some of our new viewers are like, oh, dude, boom, he just dropped one step that can save me a half a band score. Are you kidding me? Well, I'm going to subscribe to this channel. Okay, this one step can save you half to a full band score. Okay, let me show you what I mean, because you're not surprised when you see the questions. Okay, so we are looking at this listening test today. This is from our first exam book, and this is our second test. We will listen to the audio here in a second. So here, when we go to section 1, we look at the questions. And you will hear these instructions. So the instructions will be like, you are now doing the listening section of the ESOL Examination Board IELTS exam. Blah, 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 blah. And it'll blab on for about 90 seconds, which is good. You should know the instructions way before you sit your exam. Hopefully it's not the first time you hear that audio, because if you're doing practice tests at home, you will hear it. And then you see, like here it says gym membership application form. It's a little bit tough to see, but anyway, so you know that, oh, okay, this is some kind of gym application. Sure, right? Gym application. You might not see all that, but you get it. Gym application, right? So that's part one, gym application. Okay, sure, good. So while that blah, blah, blah is going on, you go on to part two. And the big difference will be now, it doesn't say section 2, it'll say part 2 here, but whatever. And then it's the same. And then you will look at this and you'll go, okay, what's this about, right? And then you're going to see, what are the two provinces? Alberta, okay. And then you see 1 million people is the number used to describe two groups in the recording. Alberta, British Columbia, Calgary. So I'm reading these parts here, right? Okay. So I don't know for sure yet what this is about, but I do get that it's something about geography. And so I keep going and skimming, and then I see the word Calgary. And then I see Calgary again, so definitely, okay, something about a place in Canada, Calgary, geography, okay. So I'm starting to kind of get an idea, and even if it's not a perfectly clear idea, at least I have an idea that this part 2 is something about, a place in Canada, okay. So it's a place in Canada. And then I look at part 3. And then part 3 says, why does the student go to see the professor? Okay, and then it says, fill out the class syllabus. Okay, and then we've got some questions there. And then it says, how long should the first assignment be? So I don't need too much more information here. I can figure out that part 3 is something about a student's class, right? So it's something to do with a student's class, talking to a professor. So first, gym membership or gym application. Second one, something about a place in Canada, Calgary by the look of it. And then third one's a student class. And then I look at part 4, section 4, and then usually that one's pretty clear. They tell you, they give you some pretty good ideas. So here I look at, okay, first question, which of these events happened 65 million years ago? Dinosaurs became extinct. Tyrannosaurus Rex, Tyrannosaurus Rex, Tyrannosaurus Rex, Tyrannosaurus Rex. All right, so it looks like, and then Tyrannosaurus Rex, again, lots of skim reading there. So it's obviously something about our big old friend. And I have a feeling somebody's going to use the T-Rex emoji in the chat. It's about our big old friend, the T-Rex. Okay, who's going to be the first to use the T-Rex emoji in the chat? I'm pretty sure there's a T-Rex emoji. So the part 4 is about T-Rex. There it is. Ritik, Sanjay, boom, T-Rex emoji. Yeah, T-Rex. very, very good. All right, so this is what I do in the first part of the introduction. So in the introduction, when it's telling me what the exam is and what it's about, I don't just sit there and go, oh, it's going to be nice to have a chicken salad sandwich for lunch. And I wonder what my friend Jim there just posted on Instagram this morning. He's always up to something. Oh, the listening's starting. Oh, get ready. Oh. I'm not saying that's going to happen to you. I know some students don't do that, or most students don't do that. Some students do freak out. They're like, what's going on? Look at all these people. So, no. Yeah, just focus on what you need to do, okay? Don't focus on being nervous. Don't focus on the weird smell in the examination room. Don't focus on what Jim is posting on Instagram. As soon as the instructions start, look at the topic of each part of the listening section so that your brain starts to turn and churn on those ideas, so that your brain goes, yeah, I know a little bit about the T-Rex. It stood on 2 legs. It was a big dinosaur that ate other dinosaurs. So think about those ideas, because that will help you to think about the words and the English that's connected to that, okay? So that's what you want to do. That's the way you want to do it, all right? Keep focused, students. All right, so that's my very, very first tip. And that one tip can, and I have seen it many times, get you a half a band or a band more on the listening section. Okay, so just understanding the topics. Everybody clear on that? Yeah? Okay. All right, and everybody, yeah, thumbs up. You got it? All right. We're going to listen. That's there's a reason I'm putting these on. Yeah, let's get into some listening. So I'm going to start this off. We're going to practice this, okay? You will hear some instructions. These instructions are quite similar to the IELTS exam. Then we will listen. We will answer the questions in part 1. Students, there's no more examples now in your IELTS exams. They stopped doing examples in 2020. Okay, so keep that in mind. There's no more examples, but we will answer these questions. Please, 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 students, do not put your answers in the chat. They can be very confusing, especially if they're wrong answers for other people. So put your answers on a separate paper, or just quickly type them into a text or something, and then we'll share them after, and we will go over the answers and the strategies and what you have to pay attention to. Okay, so for those of you who have our premium course and have access, you can see here that the book is telling you that this is CD2 and track 1. If you don't have it, no worries. I'm going to play it for you right now for free, so it's okay. Here we go. Let's jump to our website. The General IELTS website has it too. I'm going to use the academic website. Again, these are the textbooks for our live classes. So click that big red button that's just above my head there to join the premium package. It doesn't cost a lot of money. You can use that discount code TARGET9 for a 20% discount. So, but anyway, for those of you who have it, I'm going to log in. The login is just right up there. I don't think you see it on the screen, but the login is right there. And I log into my student account, and in my student account, I've got my computer-based practice exams. I've got an interactive course. This is where you can get the exam book in PDF. Lesson videos, lots of them, and then you've got your audio CDs. So these are the audio CDs here, and right now this one is telling me that it is CD2 track 1. So CD2 track 1, I find that pretty quick here. And so let's listen and let's answer while we're listening, okay? This is how the IELTS works. You answer while you listen. So get ready for it. Here we go.
This recording is copyrighted by 2 Think One Solutions Inc. and World ESL Tutors. You will hear several different recordings and you will answer questions on what you hear. There will be time given to read the instructions and questions, and you will be given a chance to check your work. The recordings will be played only once. The test is made up of 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to Section 1. Listening Section 1. You will hear a conversation between 2 men as one of the men buys a gym membership. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example. This time only, the conversation relating to this question will be played.
Good afternoon. I'm interested in purchasing a gym membership.
Of course, sir. What length of membership are you looking for? We have options ranging from 1 month to 2 years.
Can I get one for 3 months? I don't want to make too much of a commitment.
Of course.
The man says he wants a 3-month membership, so this answer has been indicated for you. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good afternoon. I'm interested in purchasing a gym membership.
Of course, sir. What length of membership are you looking for? We have options ranging from 1 month to 2 years.
Can I get one for 3 months? I don't want to make too much of a commitment.
Of course. Before we can get you started on getting into shape, I'm going to need some personal details from you.
Certainly.
Let's start with your name.
William Bacon.
Bacon spelled the same as the breakfast food?
Yes. B-A-C-O-N.
OK, William. Now I need your residential address.
Oh, please call me Bill. I feel odd being called William.
OK, Bill. So your address then?
Right. I live at 1653 Spooner Street in Liverpool.
Oh, I know that street. My grandmother lived there when I was growing up. The street name is spelled with an A, is it not?
Yes, that's right. Spooner is spelled S-P-O-O-N-A-R.
And your postcode here in Liverpool?
PK387YQ.
TK387YQ?
No, PK387YQ.
Right. Now we need your date of birth.
April 9th, 1980.
And your telephone numbers, starting with your home number.
I don't have a home number, just a mobile number. It is 312-77-8391.
Fine then. Now, do you have any medical issues we should know about, such as asthma?
I have no medical concerns. I am in perfect health as far as I know.
Now, I need to ask you a few questions to find out what type of gym membership fits your lifestyle the best.
There is more than one type of gym membership?
Oh yes, there are a number of different options. We have our most basic membership, which allows you to work out on the machines on the main floor of our town centre facility. Then there is our premium membership, which allows members usage of the machines on the second floor of our town centre facility, as well as access to our third floor lounge.
What is so special about the machines on the second floor?
Nothing really, but our gym is extremely busy, and often the machines on the second floor are the only ones available. However, as I said, they are only open to the premium members.
Tell me about the lounge.
Our lounge is fantastic. The room is big, about 50 feet by 50 feet, and we have 2 large televisions and many comfortable chairs. There is also full bar service and a complimentary snack bar.
You now have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 6 to 10.
That sounds great. Are there any other membership options?
Yes, there is one more. We call it the Premium Plus membership, and it allows customers to use any of our gym facilities in the country.
So if I go to London or Kent or Newcastle, can I use your gyms there?
Well, yes, but we don't currently operate a gym in Newcastle. We do, however, operate a total of 22 gyms in England, not including this one in Liverpool.
23 gyms. That's impressive. What is the price difference between these memberships?
Well, at your 3-month level, the basic membership is £53. The premium is £84 and the Premium Plus is £95.
That's quite a step up from basic to premium.
Yes, but it's quite good value for the additional services and location options.
I'll have to think this over a bit before I make a decision.
Just so you know, Bill, we are running a promotion right now. If you sign up another person along with yourself, we will give both of you premium memberships for the price of basic memberships.
Wow, that's a great deal. I wonder who I should ask to join with me. Greg loves to work out, but he's already has a gym membership. I could ask Steve, but he's so busy with work all the time. I think I will ask my neighbour Kate. She's been trying to get back into shape after having her baby last autumn.
Wonderful. I will see you soon then.
Yes, you will. Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
It's Mike, and it was a pleasure helping you.
I will hopefully be in tomorrow with Kate. Does 11 work?
No, sorry, I'm not in until midday.
I will see you midday then.
That is the end of section 1. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
Always use that half minute, students, to check your answers. I'm just going to stop the audio on the website. Again, for all of those who are regularly watching these live classes, it's a good idea to get the premium course so you can access all this audio and all the other materials. Just a reminder. Okay, let's go through the answers. So I was kind of guiding you there. And showing you roughly where the audio was in the content or in the information. And notice that during the I think it was about 90-second introductory time, I showed you how to go through the different parts, part 1, part 2, 3, 4, and kind of recognize the main ideas or the main topics, the reoccurring words and themes. Okay, so let's do this together. So first of all, this is a gym membership application. This person really wants to work out at the gym, and they are talking to a gym receptionist, and the receptionist says, okay, sure, great. We need to get some information from you. Now, this is typical, right? It's common kinds of situations. The name. So first he says, can I have your name? And then he says, yes, William. And notice that this information is often repeated. So don't rush, don't panic. They often repeat information in part 1. So what is the name for William? Bacon. Right. Like the breakfast food. B-A-C-O-N. Now, in the computer base, you can hit caps lock and just write bacon like that too. But you need a big B, okay, in order for that to be correct. Like the breakfast food, he says. Okay, what's the address for Mr. William Bacon, or as he likes to be called, Bill? What is the address for Bill? He lives at 1653 Spoonar Street. That's right. Spoonar Street. Yeah, very good. Spells it out, right? A couple of times. Spoonar Street. And the city is Liverpool. His postal code, they basically say it 3 times. Okay. What was the postal code? Postal codes, the letters you should always write big. So PK 387YQ. Okay. I definitely recommend writing those letters capital so that they're easier to read. And yeah, it was PK 387YQ. And that is correct. Okay. Definitely, students, practice listening to numbers and letters. Dictation is a part of the IELTS listening section. If we hop over to the website and you go to the bottom of your lists, then you will hear this British person say these numbers.
Numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, 13, 14, 18, 19, 40, 50, 60, 70,000, 100,000, 1 million, 1 billion.
Okay, so practice listening to numbers and letters. Okay, we have those on the website so that you can hear them clearly, like the difference between 15 and 50. Okay, you don't want to lose marks on hearing numbers, so listen to those, use that audio. Okay, all right. Date of birth, April 9th, 1980. Residential number. What is Mr. Bacon's home phone number? Residential number. Christian Sia says none. He doesn't have any. Yeah, just like many people these days, right? None or no number. Yeah, many people these days only have a mobile number, so no. No home phone number. Okay. Medical issues, none, and mobile number, he gives the mobile number, and that's a given answer, so not needed. All right, and then before the first half of part 1 is over, we have this little bit of a diagram. So when you review this type of question, you have to identify the differences. So difference here is this is square, obviously. This is a rectangle, and the one that's kind of below and behind me is also a rectangle as well. Okay, so those are clearly, the shapes are different. That's what we see first. Okay, and then we get into identifying the actual smaller differences, right? And we can see some of those as well. So the smaller differences here is that you've got television with what looks like several chairs or places to sit. Here it's only one place to sit. And then with these other ones, it's the same thing. There's just a different organization of the contents of the lounge. So in this gym, what does this lounge look like? Is it A, B, C, or D? Well, first of all, we know that it's square because the clerk says it's 50 feet by 50 feet. That's square. And that means that it can't be, so right away we know that it cannot be these ones, right? And then they say, well, there's lots of chairs. So we know that the correct answer is A, and it looks like a lot of you got that. It's A. Okay, so as long as you indicated A, you're doing great. A is the right answer. Check. Boom. You're golden. Okay, so always identify the differences. So they will say in the audio some points that make a difference, like saying 50 feet by 50 feet. That's square, right? Okay. So now we go to question number 6. You have to have 2 answers in your answer sheet here. Your first one is given. Number 3 is basic. So we know that number 3, this connection has been made. It's basic. And now we need to figure out what is B, what is C. So B is the premium, access to the lounge. Premium plus, it's access to all the facilities around England. Logic here, right? So it makes sense that this would be premium plus, which leaves number 1 for that. So here we would write B 1, C 2, like that. As long as you put B1, C2, or 1, 2, it has to be this order. Okay? If you wrote 2 and 1, then you'll get it wrong. So careful with that. And then here we had to do some fill in the blanks. It's the end of part 1. The answers are getting a bit more challenging. You're not getting as much repetition. You have to pay more attention to catching the words, the spelling. And of course, that's IELTS. So IELTS increases in difficulty from the first question in part 1 to the last question in part 4, question 40. The difficulty level is always increasing, okay, with every question. So, how many gyms does this company operate in England? 23 total, yeah. Yeah, 23, very good. And what is the cost of the premium membership? So still part 1, still fairly simple. We just need some numbers. So what is number 8? Harry Jot, very good. 84 pounds. 84 pounds. Nice. Who is Bill going to ask to join him at the gym? Okay, maximum 2 words. So he's thinking about it. He's thinking this person, that person, and then he finally says, oh, I think I'll ask this person because they want to get back in shape. Domenico says Kate hashtag. Maybe hashtag Kate? I don't know what that would bring up, but Kate, yeah. Again, watch your capital. Neighbor Kate or just Kate is okay. If you wrote neighbor Kate or his neighbor, that's okay as well. Okay. Sometimes there's more than one possible answer that they'll take. So if you wrote something like his neighbor or neighbor Kate, those should all work. All right. Kate, neighbor, neighbor Kate is better, Sarah, Masala, neighbor Kate, okay, Mocha, neighbor Kate, instead of Kate neighbor. What time is Bill meaning Mike? What time? It's a word here, well, you could do a number, Yeah, 12 p.m. Ritik, very good, sure, yeah, let's use the number, 12, don't just write 12 though, because that could be midnight, you'll get it wrong. It has to be 12 p.m. Okay? Or if you wrote midday, it's okay. Midday is one word. So midday is also okay. All right. Chayani, you can't write 12 at a day because it's no more than 2 words. So if you write something like 12 in the day, you'll get it wrong because it's more than 2 words. Midday, Patek, 1 word. Midday. 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 1 word, oddly enough. Okay. All right, students, how did you do in part 1? So what did you get from 10? You should be aiming for 9 or 10. Okay, for part 1. That should be your goal. It's the easiest part of the listening. So, sometimes there'll be a couple of tricky questions and you get an 8 and then, it's not the end of the world. But definitely, you should not be getting less than 8. If you're getting less than 8 in part 1, ay caramba, you could be in trouble because part 2, 3, and 4 are going to be more and more difficult. Okay, so go for 9 or 10 for part 1. Okay, all right, that's what you need to get. Okay. All right. So that's how it works. That's how your listening starts. Let's do listening part 2. It's a little bit more identification of information, maps, diagrams. Of course, the information is going to get significantly more challenging. So the biggest jump in difficulty is between part 1 and part 2. The jump between part 2 and part 3 is not so bad. Jump between 3 and 4 can be pretty big. But definitely the biggest jump or change in difficulty is between part 1 and part 2. Part 1, it's very standard information like numbers, letters, yeses and nos. But then suddenly you get into interpretation, so understanding what you're listening to. Let's do it. So listen carefully and pay attention. You won't get as many chances for repeats in part 2. You get some, okay, but not as many. So let's do this. So back to our website we go. Again, like I say, it's the textbook, and now it's going to be CD2 track to. So get ready to listen again. Viewers, students, do not put answers into the chat. Put it separately. We'll go over them after.
Now turn to section 2. Take some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Listening section 2. You will hear a recording of a travel show about tourism to Calgary, Canada. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully to the interview and answer questions 11 to 16.
Hello, I'm Deborah Sloan and welcome to Hotspots, the travel show that highlights great tourist spots around the world. Today we have a representative from Calgary, Canada, who is going to tell us a little about the city.
Thanks, Deborah. Yes, my name is Robert and I'm going to tell you all about the wonderful city of Calgary.
Sorry, I hate to interrupt, Robert, but can you tell me exactly where Calgary is? I'm sure many of our viewers are wondering.
Sure. Calgary is the largest city in the province of Alberta, which is the second most western province in Canada. Alberta lies directly east of the province of British Columbia, of which Vancouver is a very well-known tourist destination, and directly west of the province of Saskatchewan, of which Regina is the capital. Canada is a very big place, and that is shown by just how far Calgary is from many of the other major Canadian cities. Calgary is over 1,000 kilometres from Vancouver and over 3,400 kilometres from Toronto, Canada's largest city.
Canada is definitely a very spacious country.
Yes, indeed. Well, let me tell you a little about Calgary. Calgary is a beautiful city of approximately 1 million people, situated next to the Rocky Mountains. It is known most, perhaps, for the world-famous Calgary Stampede.
Is that with the cowboys and bull riding?
Yes, and it's held every July in the city. The Stampede attracts more than 1 million visitors each year from all over the world. It is referred to as the greatest outdoor show on earth. Another fact that Calgary is well known for is oil, which was first discovered in the area in 1902. With the boom in oil prices over the past 40 years, Calgary has seen its population grow from 400,000 in 1971 to over 1 million in 2007. In that time period, Calgary was by far the fastest growing city in Canada. Many sports fans will know that Calgary was host to the 1988 Winter Olympics, and to this day Calgary remains a winter activity destination, with several world-class facilities dedicated to many winter sports, from bobsled to curling to speed skating and everything in between. One of Calgary's biggest icons is its hockey team, the Calgary Flames, who play in the National Hockey League, or NHL as it's better known. But they have been one of the more successful teams in the league during their 30 years in Calgary, even winning the coveted Stanley Cup in 1989.
You now have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 17 to 20.
On the cultural side of things, Calgary boasts a number of festivals during the year, including a fringe festival, a comedy festival, as well as the Calgary International Film Festival. Calgary is also home to numerous theatre companies, as well as the Calgary Opera, Alberta Ballet, and the Calgary Philharmonic Orchestra.
Sorry to interrupt again, Robert, but this programme is called Hotspots. So what's the weather like in Calgary? I've heard it's cold.
Yes, in the winter it can be quite cold, but in the summer it is also quite warm, with average summer high temperatures hovering around 23 degrees Celsius, while average winter high temperatures are around -2 degrees and routinely go down to -20. Calgary experiences something quite unique when it comes to the weather. It has these weather fronts called Chinook winds, which can blow through the city in the winter and temporarily raise the temperature by up to 15 degrees Celsius. These Chinook winds can last anywhere from a few hours to a few days, and they are welcomed with open arms by the people of Calgary. Calgary is also one of the sunniest cities in Canada, as well as one of the driest, which makes up for a lot of the cold weather. Honestly though, if you're looking for a winter getaway to a hot spot, as you say, Calgary is not the place to go. But if you are looking for a winter getaway that includes skiing or snowboarding or anything else done best in the cold weather, nobody does it better than Calgary.
Thank you, Robert, for that fascinating look at Calgary.
That is the end of section 2. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
And again, students, use that half minute to check your answers. Don't jump to the next part. A lot of students lose points because they don't correct easy mistakes in the 30 seconds. So here, let's go over the questions together. Before we do that, you'll notice that, okay, and I saw a couple people say this, hey, that was pretty easy. Well, yeah, it's definitely easier when you see me guide you through the questions as well. So keep that in mind, okay? That obviously in the real exam, there is no Adrian sitting there, although I'm with you in spirit. My ghost is with you, but I'm not going to actually sit there and go, oh, did you catch that word? Did you see the, okay, so that's not happening. And so you need to pay attention to that, okay? So when you're practicing though, all right, so this is a tip and it's a strategy, practice strategy. You should indicate key information in the questions and answers as you hear it. You can practice this with paper-based exams, but not with computer-based. Also, important one. Also, do not circle and underline words in the real exam for either the listening or the reading sections. Why do I say that? Why? Why did I just drop that huge bomb on everybody? Well, I was like, boom, what? I've been highlighting. Highlighting at home is okay, but it's definitely not okay in the real exam. In fact, when you're doing the computer-based exam, you can't do it. Otherwise, you're going to have to like color on the screen, right? Like you'll be like, and the examiner will be like, hey, don't damage the computer monitor. So you can't do it. There's no way to do it. So why is that not a good idea to do that in the real exam? It's a good idea to do it when you're practicing at home, but not a good idea to do it in the real exam. You only visually identify it, okay? So in the real exam, you only visually identify keywords as you hear them. You don't actually physically scratch the computer monitor with your pen going, that's gonna... Tara says, it might be hard to read later. No. Yeah, Baljeet, exactly. It creates distractions. Yeah, because there's no guarantee that you're actually looking at a keyword. You're just thinking it's a keyword, right? So... Chayani says, I lost hope for underlining the answer through paper. Yeah, it doesn't work that way, okay? So it's distracting. And you may actually miss the answer while you are underlining or circling words. Okay, so in theory, it's not a bad idea, but in practice, it's a bad idea, all right? Does that make sense? So here I was guiding you and I was underlining and I was showing you where keywords are that you should be catching because it's helping to train your ears, it's helping to train your eyes. But in the real exam, that's not a good strategy because it's distracting you, okay? So in the real exam, you visually see that, oh, okay, that's the word Stampede, that's the word Calgary, but you're not actually taking your pen and circling, okay? Rocky, again, it's not a good idea in the paper-based exam, in the real exam either. Okay, it's distracting. I've heard students cry about it. They're like, I was circling the words and then I realized I'm like totally lost and they gave me the last two answers already, but I was so busy circling and then I was like, oh, I gotta stop. And I'm like, yeah, no, just don't circle, don't underline, okay? It's not the same as taking notes in your university class, okay? That's different because then you can stop and ask the professor or you can reread it, right? But it's not the same when you're like listening real time, okay? All right, Mohammed says, my father will beat me if he sees me scratching the monitor. Yeah, no, don't do that. Yeah, we don't want that, okay? Sarah says, that was me in my last exam. Oh, no, Sarah. So it happened to you. Yeah, no, don't underline. And yeah, it bothers me, some of the strategies that people tell you on some YouTube channels and websites. I have a feeling they never actually sat the real exam. But sometimes you learn the hard way. Okay, so anyway, I think you get it. I see some thumbs up. So let's answer some questions, okay? So circling, underlining keywords, key ideas when you're practicing at home, it's okay. When you're in the real test and the audio is going and you don't have a chance to go back and check, and do not underline, okay? Do not circle. Just listen for the answer, okay? All right, let's do this. So we've got first couple of questions. What are the two provinces directly west and east of the province of Alberta? Okay, so yeah, so in this way, it's west, and in this way, it's east, right? This way, it's west, and this way, it's east. Okay, so number 11, is it A, Vancouver, B, Saskatchewan, C, Calgary, D, British Columbia, or E, Regina? Amra says it's B and D. Baljit says it's B. Definitely helps if you're in my shoes, because I live in this number 11. I live right here on the side. There's Vancouver Island, and Victoria is right there. It's like on the west. So if you've watched my classes and you know where I live, sometimes I tell you the province where I live. Anirban says Canada is just a big country. So confusing. It is. Number 11 is D. It's British Columbia. British Columbia is west of Alberta, and Alberta is east of British Columbia. Okay, so we just say BC. BC is west of Alberta, or we can say Alberta is east of BC. Okay, you can say that both ways. All right. So number 11 was D, and then number 12 is B. It's Saskatchewan. If you're planning to move to Canada, I definitely recommend learning the names of the provinces. We don't have so many, so it's not like United States or India where there's lots of states. We've got 10 provinces and 3 territories. So we've got British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island. Those are the 10 provinces. And then our 3 territories, Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut. Okay, Nunavut is our newest territory. Okay, those are the different provinces and territories. Lucky number 13 altogether. Okay. All right. And then we have another double kind of question here. Question 13 to 14. Okay. 1 million people. 1 million people used to describe two groups in the recording. Which two groups? So, the speaker says this twice, and a good way to do this in the real exam is you can write down notes. Even in the computer-based exam, you have a piece of paper, and you can write on that piece of paper. So you're listening for when this person is using, or these people are using the words 1 million. And I definitely caught it, so I hope you did too. I caught it when they said population of Calgary and the Stampede. I've never been to the Stampede, but I'd love to go one day. Now that COVID's done, should be back on track. Okay, so you should have, let's see what you chose. I've got a lot of C's and D's, and I think that's right. Yeah, it is correct. So, see, it's the population of Calgary and the number of visitors to the Calgary Stampede each year. And I always make a note of this when I'm teaching this lesson. Can you imagine Calgary during July, during Calgary Stampede? The population doubles during that month. That's amazing. Imagine you have your city or your town where you live, and there's 1 month where suddenly the number of people are double. Every second person that you see is somebody visiting your city for some major event that you're hosting. In Calgary's case, it's the Calgary Stampede with the horse races, bull riding, and all of the different kinds of events that are connected to the Wild West of the great outdoors. It's a huge event. People from all over the world come. Lots of Americans, lots of people from Mexico, South America. Big event. 1 million people go to Calgary for that. Okay. Cowboys, Baljeet. Cowboys and cowgirls. That's right. Absolutely. All right. Sarah says, I'm applying to the Calgary University. Well, Sarah, then you might just have the chance to participate in the greatest outdoor show on earth. I'm sure you will have fun at the Calgary Stampede. That's great. University of Calgary is, by the way, quite a good university. It's quite a strong university, so it's a good school to apply to. Yes. University of British Columbia, University of Victoria, also very strong schools. University of Regina in Saskatchewan, also a very strong school. All right, so hopefully you got C and D. Just some little tips for those who are applying. Baljeet says, me too. All right, well, you guys might want to talk about that a bit, because you might be able to share some valuable information with each other, Baljeet and Sarah. Okay, so let's go to question 15. Which industry is Calgary well known for? Wheat, oil, natural gas. What is it? Yeah, it's B. It's oil. Okay, Albertan oil. Yes, oil. That's what actually increased the population of Calgary, is the oil industry. Okay, and then number 16, which of these events did Calgary host? Stanley Cup, Winter Olympics, Expo 88. Yura says Winter Olympics. Very good. Bonus question. I always ask this one, so some of you probably know my question and the answer. How many Winter Olympics has Canada been host to? Anybody know that? That's kind of a fun one. So Calgary, Winter Olympics. Yes, absolutely. Anybody know? Bonus question. How many Winter Olympics have there been in Canada? We've got some students, I think, that are maybe regular students for sure. 3 of them. The most recent one in 2010 Vancouver, right? 2010 Vancouver. Then before that it was Calgary. And the first Winter Olympics was in Montreal, Quebec. And some of our best Olympians are Quebec Francophones. So very strong athletes from Quebec for the Winter Olympics. Okay. So far, so good, students. Learning a little bit about history as well, sports history. It's always a good idea. And, you know, when you're getting ready for the IELTS, jokes aside, it's good to have some general knowledge about world history, sports, geography, the environment. So do some reading in English on those topics. So don't go run and pick up an Arabic book on world history. Pick up an English book on world history, okay? And read about it. Not the details. You don't need to know the little nitty-gritty details of human history. Just the main ideas. Who was Julius Caesar? Where did World War II happen? How did China become communist? You know, so those kinds of main parts of world history. Okay, number 17. Average summer highs. How many degrees? So, what's the weather like? Number 17. Baljit says 23 degrees. I love the asterisks. Yeah, it's a good idea to put that in, Baljit. 23 degrees. Now, if you can't find that in the computer-based exam, don't freak out. You can write the word degrees as well. So, but yeah, 23 degrees. That little circle, it's the word for degrees. Okay, so you could also just do 23 degrees. Okay, don't write Celsius because then you've gone over the word limit, right? So 23 degrees. If you write 23, that'll probably be okay as well, right? In the paper-based exam, it's a little bit easier in this case because you don't have to search for that symbol. You can just write 23 degrees. Yeah, it's the same. Okay, these are the same. Whoop. All right, let's keep rocking and rolling here. We've got a little bit of a complete the information. It's like a little short paragraph completion here. Average winter highs in Calgary reach what? What do they reach? Winter. It's not summer. Here it's winter, right? Something 2 degrees. Yeah, minus. Very good. Minus. You just needed the word minus there. Minus 2 degrees. Not plus, minus. Chinook winds can raise the temperature by up to 15 degrees Celsius and can last anywhere from a few hours to a few. This was a fairly easy one. Hopefully everybody got it. Days. Make sure it's a plural. Make sure it's not just one, okay, because it's few. Few days. Not day. Days. Okay? Calgary is one of the driest cities in Canada as one of the something. Driest, superlative. We need another superlative here. Amra says that superlative is sunniest. Yeah, they said that one first. That's kind of a trick in IELTS. They often do that where they reverse the information. So they'll go, it's one of the sunniest and one of the driest. And then you're like, oh, okay. Driest and sunniest. So they just kind of did a little swapperoo and switched it out. So read this. So when you got the 30 seconds, right, to review your answers, read it. So average winter highs in Calgary reach minus 2 degrees. Good. Makes sense. Check. Chinook winds can raise the temperature by up to 15 degrees Celsius and can last anywhere from a few hours to a few days. Check. Calgary is also one of the driest cities in Canada as well as one of the sunniest. Check. That's done and done. So good. We're finito, or as we should say in English, finished, the end. You're golden. Now you're waiting for the next part 3 and part 4 of the listening section. And those parts we will be doing in upcoming classes on Friday. of next week. But we do have 2 more classes tomorrow for speaking. And then we have our light hall class. Before we look at that info, just again, a quick question. How did you do, students? What'd you get from 20? So here we covered 20 questions today. Domenico says 18 out of 20 at Domenico. That's awesome. Chayani, 14 out of 20. It's not bad. You're on the right track. Check your mistakes. Sarah, 16 out of 20 is all right. Ritik, 20 out of 19 is an impossibility, but 19 out of 20 is quite good. Chen says 15 out of 20. So as long as you're around 16 or more, you're okay for part 1 and part 2. 16 or more, that should be your goal. If you're under 16, you should be like, why didn't I know what happened? What happened? So 16 or more, that's your goal. We'll check your band scores next week when we complete part 3 and 4 as well. Okay, remember the strategies that we talked about in this class. They're very, very useful. You can easily save a band score or 2. If you missed those strategies, watch this video again. Okay, students, we were using our website, aehelp.com, for this live class, as we do for many of our live classes. So these websites are the textbooks for the live classes. To learn effectively, definitely get our premium IELTS course, and you can do that by clicking the big red button that's just above my head. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It's one payment for lifetime access. We don't want to get a lot of money from one person. We want to help a lot of people, so it's cheap. And the best way for you to learn is by using the websites together with the live classes. So definitely get the websites. You can use them on your phone. You have an app for your phone as well. General IELTS, it's here. And you can click that big red button there, okay? So that's how you do it. And I will be back tomorrow with Speaking Part 2, Speaking Part 3. Thank you, subscribers. Thank you, members. Thank you, Carolina. Happy travels, Carolina. Have a great day, everybody. And I hope to see you all here tomorrow. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria here in British Columbia. Much love to all of you, wherever you are in the world today. Bye for now.